Hello everyone, my name is WalStreet, and today we are here to watch more Over the Hills by Angry Welshman Productions. Now, before we even get started on the video, I want to say two things. One, those are not gunshots but fireworks. My neighbors a few houses down from me shoot fireworks every single day at night, and today they started a little earlier than usual, but no biggie. I will make do with what I can. Also, Angry Welsh. I did it. I did so good the last couple episodes. Angry Welshman Productions. And Weez Davids, which is the admin and the founders of the production company, I'm assuming. I'm pretty 99% sure it's the founder. Give me a big shout out by making a playlist on their channel. Because of the fireworks, my cat is spooked. So, say hello to Pumpkin. I didn't name him. It was my sister. It was during Halloween time, so why the hell not? So I guess we got a guess here. I saw the thumbnail for the last episode of It Seemed Like Everything on Fire. And this episode is called Rivalry. Again, those are fireworks, not gunshots. I can tell the difference. I'm American after all. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, let's get into it.
The open season had finally started. Many passengers came to the railway for the first time to support the line. Di was happy, but was very anxious.
I would be
very clear that he needed a much more thorough overhaul. Almost on a daily basis, he would return to the shed and have to have work done to keep him going.
That's just part of life.
Mr. Edmondson and Mr. Dibdin had spent the last few weeks working around the clock to keep Di running. Mr. Anthony's welding skills were remarkable, as Mr. Edmondson soon discovered.
Well done. The good news is that your frames are all in. This weld is still looking good.
Of course it is. I welded it. I am a welder by profession, you know, Matthew.
I know, and a great job you did too. But still, we need to keep an eye on this.
How long do you think it will hold, Mr. Anthony?
It's difficult to say. I used to weld ships together in the dry dock, and they could stay together for decades. But they weren't taking so much shock loads as this one is.
Okay.
Well, you got the weight of the boiler pushing down on this corner of the frames, you see, Mr. Dewey. It's blooming heavy too. All it needs is one jolt from track, a bump from the coaches, and that weld could give way. Normally, the load is spread out through the spring. Because the whole frame is cracked, it could fail at any moment. That's why you need to keep these torches in check with the breakdown.
I wish we just had some more money to repair the brakes on my coaches.
Not an option, I'm afraid, gents.
It's not an option. But why?
Well, put it this way. I've just ordered 25 tons of coal for Di, and a tanker of diesel for Leslie. We are now broke.
What? Broke?
Okay.
Yes, broke. We
Hey.
don't have enough money in the bank to pay for the coal, let alone the diesel.
How can we keep going like this?
Well, luckily the passenger revenue is paying the fuel costs, and our passenger numbers have been rising on a daily basis.
That's good to know.
I have some bad news about that,
What
Mr.
now?
Davies. The passengers are very put off by the state of our coaches.
Well, what do you expect? I've got no money to repair them.
I'm
Calm.
having a go, Mr. Anthony. It was an observation. Whatever we can do to make these coaches more hospitable, we need to do. I mean, all of those coaches have got mould and dry rot. And don't even get me started.
Idea. I know the series is a couple years old, so I can't really have input. But my idea, go to the high school, make volunteers out of them. there has to be an art department in mail. That has to be in somewhere you can go. Come on.
On the woodworm in Coach 3.
Perhaps we should consider a bank loan, Mr. Davies.
No, absolutely not.
No.
I will not allow this company to pay debt with more debt.
Yeah.
What choice do we have?
We are in a very fortunate position at present, Mr. Stovall. We have been able to start this company without any significant debt being owed to anyone, which means that should we fail, we don't owe anything to anyone. A bank loan is all fine and dandy if you have a regular income, gentlemen.
Yeah.
But if the company should fold, then the company's assets will be sold off to pay the debt that's outstanding. That would mean that Di, Ian, and Leslie here would be headed straight for the scrapyard.
Gulp.
I don't like the sound of that.
Sorry. Gulp.
Neither do we, Ian. Neither do we. The weather is going to turn stormy this week. I predict our passenger numbers will soon drop.
Yeah.
Sadly, Mr. Davies' prediction was correct. Thick black clouds developed over the Bristol Channel the next day, and soon enough the heavens had opened. As Di was being steamed up the next morning, Mr. Edmondson noticed a familiar-looking bus approaching the station.
These sandwiches are the best, Mr. Julius. Do you have any coffee?
What am I? A staff canteen? Get your own.
Okay, so the guys that look like mafia started a bus company? That's disappointing.
Fine, G's. I'll get my own damn coffee.
Mr. Dibden! Mr. Dibden!
Hey, I'm eating my bacon sandwich. What do you want now?
That sounds good, actually.
The bus we saw a few weeks ago, remember? The one Mr. Bruce were driving.
Mr. Dibden looked on in dismay as Mr. Bruce stopped his bus in the station's car park. Mr. Smith, acting as the bus conductor, stepped out and herded the railway's passengers towards him.
Ladies and gents, attention please, ladies and gents. Railway bus here. Smith & Sons Limited is proud to present to you a much cheaper and more reliable alternative to the railway. This way please for the railway replacement bus service. Step this way please.
Hey! They're stealing our passengers.
We have to stop them.
Mr. Anthony ran over to the bus and spoke severely to them.
What on earth are you guys playing at? These are our passengers. You're stealing them.
Stealing them?
No, 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 my good sir. We aren't stealing them. We are offering them an alternative method.
You can't really tell them to stop. That's how capitalism and business works. You guys have to figure out a way to step up your game. Try to find volunteers that are willing to help out and make repairs to the coaches, and to try to keep daily repairs for the train for Di.
Bit of transport.
These passengers don't want to be travelling in filth and squalor and dirty rotten coaches.
We have a modern transport solution at hand. But you're advertising a rail replacement bus service. The railway hasn't been replaced, and you know it.
It's only a matter of time, my friend. We will be your replacement soon enough.
Mr. Bruce, tell them. You know what you're doing is wrong.
Bruce said nothing and kept his eyes on the road ahead.
Well, that settles that. Now mind your back, sir. We have customers to attend to.
Mr. Anthony watched around as Mr. Bruce's bus drove away. He returned to the shed, where the board of directors were all gathered, waiting to hear the news. Mr. Anthony told them all about it, and there was a long silence.
So, who are they?
Smith & Sons Limited.
I've never even heard of them before.
I have. Cutthroat businessmen they are. They will try anything to put you out of business. They set up a shop on my street a few years ago. They very nearly bankrupted me.
Okay, so you have past relationships with them.
That's
Crap.
they are. We need to be careful of them, Mr. Davies.
So what do we do now?
We can't just give up. We've come too far to give up.
We are not giving up, Mr. Stovall. Not by any means.
We could sue them. This can't be legal.
I wish we could, Mr.
It is legal. It's a
They have to
business.
pay. They're breaking the law, telling people that they're a railway bus. That's false advertising.
They're stealing our revenue.
That's true,
Never,
but
Mr. Davies.
Oh, that's a tough
Look,
case.
They'll have had enough money to pay for the last lot of coal and diesel, let alone the money to start a legal battle.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot afford a solicitor right now. No, gentlemen. I fear that this is a battle we will lose.
So, what can we do about this?
We carry on as we did before, Mr. Stovall. We carry on as before. Over the next few days, morale amongst the volunteers plummeted as knowledge of the intentions of Smith & Sons became known. On the closed days, with no passenger trains running, the volunteers used the opportunity to take Leslie and the permanent way train out on the line to do maintenance work. With the weather turning foul, and the frustrations of running a line with no financial backing starting to mount up, the volunteers were becoming distracted. One day, whilst out on a maintenance train replacing rotten sleepers, the workmen let their frustrations be known during the morning break.
No sleepers, no ballast, no tools, and now no hope. What's the point? Why are we bothering? All we're doing is trying to preserve our line, and these guys want to take it away from us.
They aren't taking anything away from us.
But it's obvious, isn't it? They'll take our passengers and the line will be doomed to extinction once again. We just can't compete with them.
Why don't we reduce our prices to compete with them?
Oh yeah, good idea. Why don't we just restrict the only flow of income that we have?
So what do you suggest, Mr. Dibden?
Why don't we tell them the truth?
The volunteers
What?
all turned and looked at Leslie.
What truth?
Tell them the truth? What do you mean, Leslie?
Tell them the truth. Tell them how much we're struggling and ask them for their support.
The volunteers considered
That can work, but it depends on the people of your town and city. I know if this is in America, you would not get any help.
That's confidential information, Leslie. It's none of their business.
We need to tell them about our cause. Why are you here? Why are you all here? Mr. Dibden, why are you here?
I'm here to save this line.
Mr. Julian, why are you here?
I am here to save the line that I love.
Exactly. Let's tell them that we're all volunteers.
I mean, go for it, but just be prepared.
We're all here to make money. But if they know why we are here and why we are doing what we're doing, maybe, just maybe, we'll be gaining more support from them.
The workmen thought hard for a moment. Leslie was right. They all agreed, and Mr. Dibden arranged a meeting of the board of directors that evening. He informed the board of Leslie's idea. Mr. Davies was the first to speak. Well, gentlemen, I certainly agree with the principle. Our intentions, whilst they are honest and pure, are not publicly known. Leslie is quite correct. As far as the general public is concerned, we're trying to operate a commercial business here.
So, what can we do about this then?
Leaflets, sir. Bloody thousands of them.
What?
Advertising. That's what we need.
Well, you should have done that from the beginning.
We want to achieve it.
I know you have lack of funds, but you could save a few bucks from that.
Guilt trip them.
Not quite, Mr. Anthony. Just asking for donations to support the cause.
Charity.
Mr. Edmondson is quite right, gentlemen. If we show our passengers our intentions, maybe it will help to boost our fundraising appeal. Just remember that we really need our track work up to standard.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Mr. Davies. We ran out of new sleepers a while ago. So far we've been trying to replace the bad sleepers on the cliff top with others from other parts of the line. This isn't ideal and it takes a lot of time.
Well, in that case, we need to start a track work donation fund.
What about my coaches? They need a lot of work.
We've got a lot of work on signalling too.
One thing at a time, gentlemen, one thing at a time.
Yep.
We can start as many peels as we like, but we need to remember that the more funds that we start, the less each one will earn, and the longer it will take to achieve each goal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm afraid we've run out of time this evening. That is the conclusion to our meeting this evening. Good night, gentlemen. The meeting was adjourned, and the board of directors made their way home. As Mr. Stovall made his way to his car, he heard a noise.
Who's there?
Nobody answered.
Come out and fight like a man. I'm not afraid of you.
Well, perhaps you should be.
What the hell?
Mr. Stovall felt his muscles tighten as Smith and Sons came.
Oh shit. Okay.
He felt nervous but confident.
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
Do you seriously think this toy railway of yours has a chance against us?
Toy railway? Yes, I believe it does actually.
Sob stories about volunteers and money problems won't help you.
Your history. It's just a matter of time. You might as well give up, old man.
Mr. Stovall looked over at Mr. Bruce's bus. Mr. Bruce himself was sat in the cab, looking on in dismay.
Is this what it's come to, Bruce? Scare tactics?
Mr. Bruce said nothing.
You really expect him to stop after what your company did to him?
He deserved what was coming. It's his own fault, not ours. Now, if you'll excuse me...
Mr. Stovall tried to get into his car. But Michael Smith...
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now I'm angry. And you won't like me when I'm angry.
You're on a 3-on-1. You're not gonna win that fight unless you have a weapon.
Ow. Damn it. Ow. Ow. Damn it. Ow.
Jesus Christ, how many punches is that guy gonna take?
arrived home and was looking forward to an evening with his wife, Victoria, and their dogs, Poppy and Cassie. He was worried about her. He hadn't been able to spend much time with her at all since the railway had started. Hello, Victoria.
William, at long last. Finally, you've kept a promise. Wednesday evening all to ourselves.
I'm sorry, Victoria. I've been letting that railway take over my life. I just need to put things in order.
I know, William, I know. But you must remember that you're retired now, after all. You're working far more hours than you did when you were superintendent. Just please remember what the doctor said.
I know.
Who?
Well, what on earth?
Who?
William, that's the police.
The police?
What on earth are they doing here? William, what have you done?
Just because the police have turned up doesn't mean I've done something, Victoria.
Excuse me, Mr. Davis?
Yes, Inspector?
I'm afraid I need you to accompany me to the station.
What on earth is going on? Is my husband in trouble?
No, madam. But I have to report that there's been a serious incident on your railway, Mr. Davies. I need you to accompany me to the station.
Oh,
Go.
Very well. I'm very sorry, Victoria. I must go now. Mr. Davies accompanied the police inspector to Landiadog Station. Here he found Mr. Stovall covered in blood and bruises, with handcuffs on. Mr. Stovall! What on earth happened to you?
I got jumped, Mr. Davies.
Jumped?
Yeah, those bloody bus guys. They came after me when we finished the meeting.
So, where are they now?
Landiadog General Infirmary, Mr. Davies. Mr. Stovall here gave them quite the thrashing, didn't you?
Those little Herberts got what they had coming.
My God, are you injured, Mr. Stovall?
Good God, no. I spent the war in the Air Force. I think I can handle myself.
Good. In that case, Mr. Stovall, I'm placing you under arrest on suspicion of aggravated assault.
What?
You have the right to remain
Wait, what?
Anything you do say may be used as evidence against you in a court of law.
This is preposterous.
Please, officer, there must be some mistake.
There's no mistake, sir. I've had a report that there are 3 men in hospital now because they were beaten to a pulp by this gentleman.
Oh, this guy actually kicked some ass? Oh, shit. Alright.
I also have 3 witnesses' statements saying that they were...
I won't do him, but
You can do the math.
screw the police.
I'm afraid. You'll have to answer the local magistrate, Mr. Stovall.
Mr. Davies, you'll have to take over as chairman until this is blown over.
Come on, you. Get in the bloody police car.
No need to get the police any more aggravated. Just do what he has to do.
Can't let them win.
Mr. Davies watched in horror as Mr. Stovall was taken away by the police. He could not believe what...
Come on.
He strolled down to the yard and met the other directors in the shed. They had all heard about what had happened to Mr. Stovall.
I can't believe that they would do this. I'm the one who squared up to them. It's me who should be arrested. Mr. Stovall is innocent.
Don't be silly, Mr. Anthony. It weren't your fault. It's all done now. We just need to watch our backs.
We shouldn't have to put up with this. Why should we be intimidated just because we're trying to run a railway?
Let's get them back.
What?
Yeah, let's go burst their bus's tyres or something. Kick them while they're down.
Don't be absurd, Thomas. We're not
No.
thugs.
But they did it to us. Why should
I
we
thought
fight
I
back?
makes the whole world
We're
blind,
better
dude.
than
Come
them,
on,
Thomas.
no.
We're better than they are. What would our passengers say if they found out about that?
But what if they come back? We're all targets.
Yeah.
He's right.
Then we will cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yes.
For now, we carry on as normal. We need to show our passengers that we can rise above the intimidation. That will prove to them that we have what it takes to run this railway.
Perhaps you'd think differently if it was you they were coming after, Mr. Davies.
Mr. Dibdin and the others walked away, leaving Mr. Davies lost for words. Mr. Davies sat down on Di's running plate, and Mr. Edmondson stayed with him.
Mr. Dibdin didn't mean that, Mr. Davies.
I know.
I'm sure things will calm down, eventually.
I wish I could agree with you, Mr. Edmondson.
You don't think they're going to come back for more, do you, Mr. Davies?
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, Leslie.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get worse.
What can I say? But come on. What can I... Honestly though, what can I say about all that? I was not sure if I should call them the mafia, but that's honestly what they are. Intimidation to get what they want. They take over businesses that are innocent. Typical day in America, but just a mess. That whole situation is just a mess. The best course of action at this point is just try to run the best railway you can have. I know that's going to be really difficult with a bus system because people can stop exactly where they need to go on a bus compared to a train station. But you have to get charity. You have to try to go get funds that you don't have to pay back to. If there's a smart they try to say get a Patreon, but that's not a thing. I'm even more scared for the next episode.